Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where there were too many damn movies. Yes, Hollywood took what it had left for 2013 and threw it all up against the wall, only to see none of it stick. Instead, audiences passed over important movies for fun movies, and as a result might have rendered some Oscar campaigns DOA. Let's start off with the winners, which despite 5 movies opening wide on Christmas Day, were all holdovers from previous weeks. The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug dropped just 6% in its third weekend, taking in almost another $30 million. This is very promising news for Warner Brothers, indicating that while An Unexpected Journey might have left a bad taste, good word of mouth has audiences returning to the franchise. As a result, expect the third entry there and back again to have the strongest opening of the entire franchise in December 2014, after Smaug's debut lost some ground this year. Then in second place, Frozen got a second wind, as in its 6th week jumped almost 50% to also capture another $30 million or so. This kind of overwhelming success definitely puts Disney Animation back on the map after being eclipsed by their competitors the last few years, and further proves that animated fairy tales are their sweet spot. Too bad they don't have any other ones planned at the moment. Will Disney Animation join Pixar in the sequel business with a Frozen 2? Speaking of sequels, third place went to Anchorman 2, which dropped just about 25% in its second week. The Will Ferrell comedy is quickly approaching the century mark and could potentially be Ferrell's biggest hit since 2006's Talladega Nights. Now in fourth place we find American Hustle, which held steady as well with a slight jump and seems to be one of the few films actually benefiting from awards buzz. It also might have benefited from the controversy surrounding the similar The Wolf of Wall Street, the most fascinating box office scenario of the holiday weekend. On Christmas Day, Wolf had a very strong debut, tailgating Smaug for the #1 spot and indicating very strong audience interest. However, it dropped almost 30% the next day and was never able to rebound, even dropping another 20% on Sunday. And it seems the culprit is the film's excessive nudity and swearing, a Christmas surprise that many audience members didn't take kindly to. It got a C from CinemaScore, and on Fandango, it currently has the lowest audience rating, with many complaining not just about the film's pornographic nature, but also its length and overall quality. And while critics praise the Martin Scorsese-Leonardo DiCaprio film out of the gate, it's now dropped to 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. And The Wrap reported that at a recent awards screening, a screenwriter came up to Scorsese after the film and publicly reprimanded him for making something so disgusting. With this kind of backlash, one has to wonder what effect it will have on Wolf's Oscar chances, and if Scorsese and DiCaprio have jeopardized all the goodwill they've earned with audiences. Would this have been avoided if Paramount's ad campaign for the film had prepared audiences for what they'd be seeing on screen, or if Wolf had accepted its initial NC-17 rating? I'm curious as to your thoughts on this and own experiences seeing the movie. Did you see anyone walk out? Did you? And if you liked the movie, what do you think of these developments? So while American Hustle and The Wolf of Wall Street seem to have split their audience, it looks like Saving Mr. Banks and The Secret Life of Walter Mitty have split theirs. Walter Mitty also had a stronger Christmas Day debut, but dropped 40% on Thursday, while Banks basically held with just a 10% drop. Neither has any huge awards traction anyway, so this is basically a financial showdown. At least Saving Mr. Banks had a head start, plus cost just about a third of Walter Mitty's $90 million budget. Ben Stiller seems to be on a box office downward spiral. Thank goodness he's got another Night at the Museum set for next Christmas. Of the 5 new wide releases, 47 Ronin was the only other one to make it into the top 10, but just barely. Debuting at number 9, the $200 million pick is such a disaster that one has to wonder if Universal pretty much threw it under the bus. 47 Ronin is clearly not an awards contender, and the holiday box office is clearly oversaturated. Perhaps if 47 Ronin had been released in August or January, it would have at least had a chance. As for Grudge Match, it couldn't even get into the ring, debuting at number 11. It's pretty much a given at this point that Sylvester Stallone can't open a movie anymore unless it's an Expendables entry. And while I'd like to say it's a good thing he's transitioning to behind the camera with flicks like Homefront, that pick's debut was even lower. But again, Grudge Match might have opened bigger on another weekend. Now, someone who should be really concerned is Justin Bieber, as his second concert documentary opened at number 14 with just $2 million. While Never Say Never opened on the floor, this debut in the nosebleed seat seems to indicate that he should leave the crazy antics to Miley. In the specialty market, both August Osage County and Lone Survivor had moderate per-theater averages, but they really only hit theaters to qualify for award season. But considering that Lone Survivor has only been recognized by the Las Vegas Film Critics Society, this is yet another pick that would have probably been better off with a different release date. Maybe audience interest will pick up when it goes wide January 10th, but with this low per-theater average, that now seems unlikely. As for this coming weekend, audiences will have a chance to catch up on all these movies, as only Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones debuts, and is expected to have the lowest debut of the franchise. Don't forget, you have just a few days left to vote in BTT's poll for the top 10 movies of 2013. The link is in the video description, and the poll closes at midnight on January 2nd, 2014. And that's the weekend box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.